Hi everyone,
types
can everyone
of
hear me fine?
uh, ships that were the
This is a
size
new
of
setup,
moons
so
and
we're just
planets
testing how the
that
microphone
set up a
works and
grid around the
everything. Thank you
entire
so much for coming.
local star cluster that prevented any types of
Thank you
intruders from
so much,
coming in.
Onion Man, for putting this
And
room
this
together. It gives us more room, a lot more space to share information. Hi, I'm Dr. Voltron. You guys can come up closer if you'd like. The pictures I'm sharing today are a little blurry because I guess they were, a little, they were in they're nice quality when I uploaded them. I don't see why they're looking like this. But so they were just talking about channeling. They were talking about a book called The Law of the One, and basically how that book came across was through channeling. And how that happens is brain frequencies. So your brain frequencies have levels: alpha, beta, theta, delta, and gamma. When you hit beta, most of those times that's the level of meditation. Sometimes when you're in a groove and you're cooking or you're drawing something very beautiful and you're in a zone, that's beta level. In that level, you're actually open to more information, into more more awareness of your surroundings. So that's why you actually function better because you're open to brain frequency beta. So that's where that book that they were talking about called Law of One came from. And that is actually, I get the question a lot: do they have a religion up there? Do these extraterrestrials have a religion? What do they believe in? Most of them, they follow the Law of One, and that is that everyone comes from light source and everyone is following their evolutionary process, which is riding alongside their spiritual process. What they call these bodies, they actually call them containers, and these containers can actually be grown, and they can actually move the soul that they found. I'm talking about ET technology. So this is thousands, maybe even millions of years in advance of us. So they've actually found a way to, merge spiritual essence and technology. They're actually one and the same and can be crossed over. So what I'm talking about is the endoplasmic matter that your soul is made of can actually be transferred into what they call containers. These containers, like what we have right now, are called Homo sapiens sapien. But what's very special about these Homo sapiens sapien bodies is that we are made of 23 different extraterrestrial DNA origin, which is why it's so easy for them to abduct you, take your sperm or your egg, depending on what sex you are, and actually make hybrids or even to expand or save their race because the DNAs are actually functioning and vibrating together at a certain level.
I'm
Um,
natural in my DNA.
yeah, matching the DNA. Perfect. Because DNA is actually just a vibration. All life is a vibration. And all of the stuff that your parents and your grandparents have gone through, they share your DNA. So if they have unhealed trauma that passes on to your kids, it'll pass on to your kids if you don't fix it. And this is actually called transgenerational trauma. And it's your soul life cycle. Your soul life cycle can be experienced in lots of ways. And this art, you chose to be experiencing it in a Homo sapiens sapien body. But the star body, that when I say star body, the shape of the body, which is two legs and two arms, one head, what they call bipedal, is actually very prevalent in space. Most other beings, or what you call extraterrestrials, follow this humanoid structure, and they're basically just evolved beings of what you have on Earth, but of humanoid structure. So out there in space, you'll have a cat humanoid, you'll have an elephant humanoid, you'll have many different kinds of reptilian humanoids, and then you'll also have a bunch of hybridization programs with humanoids that have grown up in different atmospheres and have their planets orbiting different ages of stars. So right now we're orbiting a yellow star, so we have the eclectic color of beings on this Earth, depending on what region and civilization and culture we are raised up in. In space, there are many different colors than what we have here. Everything from the colors of the rainbow, from red to orange and blue. But that, like I said, the thing that is most common, the universal structure, is called the star body, which is a bipedal structure, two arms and two legs. When I was talking about channeling is actually the way that they're going to communicate with you. So if you're in this room, you're already in the right place because you're already open to the information that is going to be coming. We call this a disclosure project. The Disclosure Project is basically a span of years, or it's a project for us to actually open up the files and give the information that has been held back from you as far as ET technology, ET health technology, even Earth history and solar system history that has been held back from the general public. Slowly, piece by piece, and I'm thinking in the next 5 years they'll give you the full story. But right now is stage one, where they're having UFOs actually just pop up in random places, enough for you to start a conversation with your peers and say, "Hey, did you see that UFO?" Because if they're trying to do the Disclosure Project with as less harm as possible. So if they were to show up tomorrow, they would actually cause too much panic and cause more trauma than actually healing. So they're actually doing it, you know, videos so that there's a conversation of, hey, there's someone in disguise, and then they're going to show you more information and actually lead you back to Antarctica. So Antarctica right now is a very forbidden land. As you know, a lot of countries are not even allowed to go to Antarctica, but you hear a lot of stories about the Nazis going to Antarctica. You hear a lot of stories about General Byrd finding even secret doorways going down to Hollow Earth from Antarctica. So the story of Antarctica, where it is right now, is not where it used to be. And I'm actually going to show you some pictures of um, actually what the Earth used to look like before the catastrophic events happened. I'm trying to see if I can get this to work. Let's see. So, oh, let me show you this. So this picture is what they used to call skinny bob. So, the very famous crash, 1947, the Roswell crash that made it to its claim to fame. Well, actually, there were a bunch of other ships. There was another crash in New Mexico that they kept in secret. But there were two other crashes. But let's talk about this one, 1947 Roswell crash. There were actually three beings in there. One of them died. Two of them stayed behind for some time, and then Eben 2 actually went back to its planet and went back to its planet called Serpa. Serpa is orbiting a star system called Zeta Reticula. Zeta Reticula actually is a binary star system. So there's many star systems out there. So if someone tells you, "Hey, I'm Palladian," well, which part of Palladians? Because Palladians is actually seven white star systems with its own planets. So if you want to get specifics, but this is an Eben. The beings that
Where are we supposed to be looking? Sorry.
I'm sorry.
I
Oh, I'm
don't
sorry.
see
Oh
what.
yeah, let me grab the laser pointer. Thank you, Onion Man. So this is a Skinny Bob, or a
Okay.
very accurate model of Skinny Bob. Skinny Bob was an Eben. Eben stands for extraterrestrial. Um, what is it? What is it, man? Extraterrestrial biological entities. Uh, it's actually called an E-bin, but then plural is called E-bins. One of them stayed behind and stayed, in Dulce Base and in lower levels of Area 51 for quite some time. They do to eat our diet, and then he passed away for whatever reasons. The other one, even two, actually started the exchange program, and then Ronald Reagan was actually briefed on that. If you want to research that more, you can look up Linda Moulton Howe. She has a great episode on Ronald Reagan, and they talk about the program. Okay, so over here on this side,
Oh,
these are
okay.
different. These are different beings. Um, see if I can move it over here. So you can see how they can get them confused, and they're actually two different kinds of extraterrestrials. Just for so you guys know what extraterrestrials are, what you call beings that you can actually see and touch and have conversations with, because they're reality. So we call them extraterrestrials because they're outside of this planet, but still sharing the same reality. But there are also interdimensional beings who are of light, and sometimes they do occupy a light body or a container like we do. But sometimes they appear as light, or sometimes people mistake them as angels, or actually just beings vibrating at a higher frequency. So if you can understand multiverses or even levels of universes, every frequency is a different consciousness or a different vibrational community. So these beings over here that are contacting Bashar, if you guys can see over here, So he's a great channeler, and what he does for a living, his name is Randall, and he's actually a visual effects guy. He works for movies and stuff like that. So he came out a great movie called First Contact about his first contact. And what he does is he puts his hands together, and I wish I had a video to show you this. And he gets channeled. A being actually comes into him and starts
You want me to
answering
bring up a
every
video of
question.
Bashar?
Oh yeah,
Should I?
if you can bring up a
Okay.
video of Bashar, just like Bashar's greatest hits. So the beings that he is in contact with are actually us from the future. So or another Earth timeline from our planet, but a different timeline. So this is where it gets interesting. So not only is there layers of universes and meta universes and multi dimensions of universes, but there's actually different timelines, and there's multiple timelines overlapping each other and happening at the same
What the
time.
actual fuck?
Sorry. So these beings here that are contacting Bashar are actually us from a different Earth. And what happened with their society is they saw emotions as a weakness and started getting more based into technology and actually uh, fell away from all their spiritual essence. So this is Bashar. Show you a little. Thank you, Onion Man.
Oh,
Your upcoming transmission shall be titled Breaking News.
sorry.
We will be discussing the recent information about UFO sightings that represent the beginning of disclosure and the effect that these discussions on
that
your
good enough?
major news
That's good.
media outlets is having on the window of contact. We will also be looking at the idea of what each and every one of these sightings represents, how they all build up
Sorry.
together.
So that's
how
Bashar,
the
and
degree
he's
to
normally
which-
not like that. He puts his hands together, and an extraterrestrial entity actually enters his brain. They did a brain scan on him to see which part of his brain are actually functioning during the channeling, and it seems like all his pain receptors and all his feeling receptors are turned off, and everything that is inside of his brain is turned on like a radio transmitter. So it's really cool. If you want to check out that whole story and that whole um, how he channels and actually the message he's getting, check out his movie called First Contact. So like I was saying, these beings are actually us. They're Homo sapiens sapiens from a different timeline. As they started to progress into technology and fall farther and farther away, what makes them human, the spiritual essence of the soul, they started to lose their ability to breed. So they started to make clones. As sooner as time came by, the clones started to not prosper. So what they did was actually come to a timeline where the human beings of their race was had a prominent let's say crop, at this stage is a very, very important stage in our timeline, because anywhere past this, it seems that these containers are not infected, I'm sorry, affected by the environment of the earth. So actually from right now to probably 1960s would probably be the best case of abducting human containers, because they're still organic and functioning at their highest level. And after that, with all the plastic foods and stuff like that, it doesn't seem like they go past that time for abductions. But these extraterrestrials are us, and they come back and they obviously harvest eggs and sperm from the males and eggs from the females and create a hybrid race. You'll see some abductees actually who will be in a dream state and meet the children that they've helped produce, and the children will say, "You are our mother." And this is happening a lot with this race, and has actually helped them to build what they have now, a striving civilization. And they come back and forth through the timeline, actually trying to steer us away from the road that they took, which is really cool because it's just like a movie. But yeah, this is what they look like. They're actually a hybrid, if you can
Excuse
imagine
me.
a mix. Sure, sure.
Two questions. You said hybrid children. Are you aware of the
Mhm.
Amaricha bird story?
Um, sorry, share it.
Admiral Richard Byrd. He was some general
Oh,
pilot
Admiral
over some
Byrd.
type of
Yes,
yeah.
General Byrd. So General Byrd,
So is
remember I was talking about Antarctica. So what
are those
happens
the
is,
ones that they met some type of children from in Hollow Earth? Is that the
so
same
oh no, these are
sort of
the so
species?
there are many different kinds of extraterrestrials. So we're very conditioned to think that there's just the gray ones, but there are many different extraterrestrials, and some of them actually look humanoid. Let me bring up a picture. Actually, I have a picture of what they call the Agarthan network. So if you want to look into the like what they would call hollow Earth or inner Earth civilizations, which does exist and is very prominent, and let me tell you why they do exist. And this is how a planet is actually born. So a planet is actually spewed out of the sun as ball of fire, and as this ball of fire is spinning in space, the outside of the planet is cooling
I'm
down. So the
aware.
inside is still think, think you see, and then so the inside is hot. Well, the inside is actually going to spew out of the North and South Pole, and then
Yes.
space will actually, and
North
so
is
it
within
creates,
the south.
yeah, north and south. So most planets actually have an opening on the north and south pole, just
Right.
like ours does,
Do you
and that's why it's
believe that they
covered.
have an opening in um Iraq as well, that big cave or
You
Shasta
know what's
Mountains?
It's so funny
Besides
that you
just
mentioned that
the
because
north is
most
really the South Pole.
You know, it's really funny you mentioned that, Z, because I can tell you that most of the places that they tell you humans there's famine and there's war and or you shouldn't go there are the places you actually should
Right.
be looking, just like in Ethiopia. In
Exactly.
Ethiopia is actually where the Ark of the Covenant is. And if you go to Iraq, Iraq is where's the last remaining piece of Atlantean Stargate. It's a Stargate. It's a Stargate
Would
under
it be
Iraq.
just best to follow certain birds that migrate there seasonal? Because me
Birds?
and my husband right here
Mm-hmm. Hi, how you
actually
doing?
plan to take that journey
You
someday.
should definitely take your, you know what it is and why it's so important for human beings to migrate. It's because you're actually downloading information. So if
And
you
you're
look at
gonna
these
lose out
crop
on the
circles,
government.
yeah, it's like you're a walking microchip. Your body's made of quartz. So when you go to certain places where experiences and events have happened, you actually download the emotions or aftermath of that. So there's a lots of points of like that on Earth that we don't know about. And back in the day, we used to be able to see things like this. They said it looked like saran wrap. So you would see like, the saran wrap, and we're like, oh my gosh, it's crazy energy. But then we lost the vision. So they to make temples. That's why humans have temples and churches
Right.
to mark
On a
these
magnetic
places,
grid.
these magnetic grids. Exactly. Thank you, Z. So, like all of these things, the churches that you have and monuments are actually
Yes.
markings for these
The White
energy
House,
points.
Congress.
I think it's very important that you do that migration. Yeah, I think that's an amazing.
Do
Oh,
you think
um,
that will grow larger since it's
you know
more
what?
positive in Earth than negative on a crust from the charges that Earth is made out of?
As far as like size goes, I've heard many things about size, and I've heard the fish tank story where the environment is the distance from where your land is to your sky is not big enough for you to support a larger being. But the I've heard on other planets as well that the taller the being, the higher the consciousness, and I've heard of 30 foot Homo sapiens sapiens. So there's a lot of
Right.
things to like think about there. But I wanted to talk to you about the Agarthian network. Remember, I was talking to you about the beings that are living in the hollow Earth. So when the planet is spinning, it actually creates not a hollow Earth but honeycombs. So all over the Earth there's cave systems, and because there's honeycombs and air and lava spewing out of everywhere. But in these honeycombs, you'll find extraterrestrials just blocking off one side and blocking off the other and pumping whatever is their prominent gas or environment to sustain them. And you'll find this all over. Now, there is a higher, intelligent being in there that are humanoids. They call them the Agartha network, and this is the beings that General Byrd that you were talking. Actually, he's an admiral, but Admiral Byrd saw when he was sent over there with like a huge fleet. I don't know. Everyone's like, "Why are you really bringing a whole fleet over there? For what reason?" He came back, he was celebrated, and then he started talking his mouth about, hey, there's this extraterrestrial down there, and he said, "Stop playing with nuclear bombs. You guys have no idea what happens." So what happens with a nuclear bomb? What we see is a mushroom cloud, but that thing tears through dimensions. Not only tears through dimensions, but it creates a huge bubble that fluctuates, and it turns off a lot of people's electronics that are up there. Not only just human beings, there's people who are just chilling around our planet. Like, hey, what are these guys? It's kind of like, you look at an ant hill and that ant's playing with bazooka, and you're like, hey, what the hell? These guys aren't even smart enough to be playing with that. So that started to,
The
to ring the bell. Like, hey,
the
these
sun.
guys, what are they doing? Yes,
Mhm.
go ahead, brother.
Oh, sorry. No, I was gonna say no. That's such an important point that you brought up about playing with nuclear weapons, and some nuclear weapons are
Hmm.
based on whatever chemical is it compound that they mass produce, or like anything like
It's
boron or
actually from that day on, from 1942, anything you guys have touched as far as technology has been reversed extraterrestrial technology. So, dude, be an engineer. A lot of you have you
so
have
I
for them to out. One usually
so
keep something.
what
So, okay.
what is it?
Voltron, what about yeah, no,
I
that's
don't know. It's getting
fantastic.
low.
Yeah, and you know what? We do believe that there are other species that are among us, perhaps extremely extremely intelligent
Hello.
and have been here prior to our years,
Yeah.
or
So I wanted to
millions
show
of
I
years.
wanted to show
What
you a few
what about
pictures of
the
some
sun? The thing
extraterrestrials
is,
that
the
you
sun,
you wouldn't
the sun.
you
Oh
wouldn't
yeah, I
even
know.
think were
Come on.
extraterrestrials.
Where's
So
Leo?
you have here, I'll show you this one right here.
Are they are
This is a
they are
very
they
famous
visible,
Come on,
or
picture.
let's
they're not
go.
visible
Where we going?
anymore?
Let's go.
I
So
just
this
understand.
is a picture of an
Don't open
extraterrestrial,
mic, baby. I
and
don't.
it looks just like a human being. You wouldn't even see the
Mm-mm.
features. If
That
you
that
wouldn't
looks
even
like
be
fun,
able to tell
delicious.
that this is a different humanoid from a different planet. But then you have different human beings from the Garthan network that live beneath us, and because of their artificial sunlight, you don't really see them with colored hair or anything like that. These pictures are from the Russian government, by the way. So here's another one. As you can see, same features, and you would just think it was a tall humanoid, but these are actually humanoid race that Admiral World acquired or talked to that told them to stop messing with nuclear weapons. And again, you see it; they just look just like us. I know that Agartha network downstairs is very, very highly intelligent and very, very highly technologically advanced as well. So we shared the planet Earth with a lot of different beings, not just us. And again, not to mention the reptilians and mantis people that do exist as well, on just the planet Earth. They say the planet Earth is a very, very special planet because there's many different races that are living on this planet alongside each other and away from each other. If you go to other planets on Earth, you'll probably only find two or three races. Over here, we have more than 500. Our human being DNA, or what we call Homo sapien sapien, is actually made of 23 different kinds of DNA. And I tell the students all the time, you'll see the stages of your embryo go through this ET influence as it's growing. It starts off as a little bean, and then you'll see it turn into a fish, and then a reptile, and then a dog, and then a rat. And you're saying, what the heck? What's going on? Stages of a baby. But all stages are actually the stages of the different ET races who have influenced development of what you would call Homo sapien sapien. But this biological structure, we show you another picture that's really cool because I remember the last show last week we talked about Apollo 20. This is a very fascinating mission. Apollo 20 is when they found this huge ship. I'm trying to find a picture in comparison to New York City, and it's really amazing how big this thing is and how you can miss it on a planet like the moon, or planetoid like the moon. Um, Oh, I can't find it. Well, anyways, let me show you a picture of the lady that they found. So the lady that they found that was piloting the ship was around 8.5 feet tall. She had huge almond. Sorry, I'm trying to actually control this thing. Oh, here she is. Okay, so here it is right here. This is her face and how they found her. Most of the times you'll see that the pilot is actually connected to the craft, and it's usually just one being. There's no team of controlling the craft, and the reason why this happens is because these crafts are no longer being moved by propulsion. A lot of them have electrogravitic and magnetic gravitic propulsion, or they have black hole technology where they actually throw a black hole to their designated and the craft is actually pulled to their destination. Anyways, a lot of these things that are happening because attached to the craft because if you're moving at that speed, you got to know where your craft is moving. You have to feel the inertia if you're going back and forth, right and left, or otherwise you're going to run into a mountain or go into a planet. So what happens is the crafts that are flown are actually made or manufactured by the pilot's DNA. So without the pilot's DNA, you can't even turn this thing on. Most of the crafts you'll see that they are attached to the eyes and the third eye, or what they would call the pineal gland. This is the third eye that's hidden inside your head. Human beings have it as well. So it goes there, and then attached to her shoulder blades. The shoulder blades actually have the most nerve endings crisscrossing. That happens for Homo sapiens as well. So these nerve endings are actually attached to the chair when they found her. The microchips were so intricate, you wouldn't even think they were microchips. Let me see if I could find a picture for you guys. Oh, here's a picture of her forehead. These beings are actually very prominent in abductions and contactees. You'll hear them talk about beings that are short and tall with big Asian eyes, um, and then they'll say they have an indentation where their third eye is. It could be a bump or multiple bumps. This woman that they found, they call her Mona Lisa. So if you want to research more about that, that's Apollo 20 and research Mona Lisa. They have video of her and they actually have video of the craft and they have video of the jacket that was attached to her back. If you look up this man, his name is Emery Smith and he's all over Gaia and I think a couple of ancient aliens and what he is, he's actually a biologist. So when they'll find another extraterrestrial that they want to keep in the library or they need a DNA sample, they'll send him the alien inside of this confined room, and he'll take out skin samples or DNAs and put it in a compartment and send it back in the others. Sometimes he says the reasons why he was taking DNA samples because they needed to jumpstart the ship. So a lot of the UFOs, they can't even do anything without the DNA sample of the pilot. So that's, I heard one of the ways they get through that program. One of the subjects before I get off topic today, I wanted to talk about this. So age regression technology. Um, Let me move this one too. I'm sorry about that. Figuring out a way to. This is really crazy. Okay. Two subjects. Okay, age regression technology. Well, let's start with the left one. Here we go. So, why hundreds of people have vanished into America? So, if anyone doesn't know what's happening in America, a lot of campers are actually just vanishing. 1,400 in the past year. Um, and this does have to do with a lot of abductees. Like I said, this is the last prominent years for fresh containers. So you'll see a lot of UFOs that are just part of the disclosure program, and you'll have a lot of UFOs still trying to abduct for sperm and egg. A lot of these ETs don't have the same servant who actually want to raise our consciousness and help us elevate to the next level, then you have us another extraterrestrial right alongside of it who sees us as cattle. So I just wanted to mention, that this is actually happening behind closed doors, not to just not scare you or anything, but just keep safe from camping right now. This is really cool. Age regression technology. So if you look up a lot of um, secret space program or space soldiers who actually have been on Mars and other planets um, who have been coming out. They'll say that they're part of a 20-year and back. So what does that mean, 20-year and back? Lots of the times, 20-year and back is they'll do a 20-year mission and then come back to the time that they were actually abducted. Now, how does that happen? Well, it's a rapid growth system. So they take your DNA and actually rapid grow a container, and that container stays dormant until you're ready to go back to the same state where you were abducted. They actually use this age regression technologies when you're in the same body, and they actually regress time. This is actually healing. If you can read this, this is what they use for space soldiers. So it's just like the movies, just like the movies. They put them inside these chambers, and through quartz vibration and light technology, they will generate whatever broken bodies back to normal. And this is Arcturian. So if you want to talk about light technology and crystal beds who have people who have been abducted said they've had light technology and healed their cancers and stuff like that. Most of the times that's Arcturian people. So, all these extraterrestrials all have different types of technology. If you want to talk about the Mayans are really cool. They never found like artifacts about, dead bodies and stuff like that. It's because they left. They were here for a little bit and they stayed, they hung out, and they left. I'm trying to find a picture of Corey Good. Corey Good is actually in contact with the Mayans right now. And I want to mention them because their UFOs look like rocks. So a lot of UFO crafts that you see are made of metal or discoidal. When I say discoidal, I mean, circular shaped. Um, or cigar shaped is a very common shape. Most of the cigar ones are motherships. So if you see a cigar one, if you stare a little longer, you'll see a bunch of other ships coming out of it. Um, Sorry, I'm trying to this picture of the Mayans I want to show you. Corey Good is a great contactee. So there's different contactees for different ET races. So there's not one person who's like in contact with every single race. If you want to talk about the Mayans, um, wow, what is going on here? Is that a Mayan picture? I can't see that. I'm so sorry, guys. I don't know if this is it. Oh no. Well, that's a cool picture too. So what this is, if you want to know the story of Atlantis and where it came from, this is very important. So the in our solar system, you'll see an asteroid belt. That asteroid belt, they've actually made an algorithm and put all those pieces together. And what they found out was it created a huge Earth-like planet. This Earth-like planet was called Tiamat. Tiamat had a surrounding planet, another little planet that actually orbited it. That planet you now know as Mars. Something happened during a solar flare that caused Tiamat to blow up. Tiamat is now what you know as the asteroid belt. You'll see many mountains and fish and waters, blocks of ice. That's actually pieces of broken planet. And if you look at Mars, 20% of it on the left side is actually flattened, is a little bit more shallower than the other side because of this explosion. The beings that came from that planet, Tiamat, is what they call the pre-Adamites. The pre-Adamites. Let me see if I can get a really good picture for you guys. Pre-Adamites look like the beings that you have in Peru, the elongated skulls. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to grab a picture, but these arrows are too small. Oh, here you go. Some crystal skulls, not crystal skulls, but here's some elongated skulls of what the beings from Tiamat look like and what they call the pre-Adamites, which they'll be telling you soon because that's part of disclosure. Most of the beings that they're gonna find in Antarctica are discovery as they slowly public about aliens and extraterrestrial influence. Because they're gonna tell you that these elongated skulls were for real. And they're actually elongated skulls from our ancestors, and from them they created what they call us, the Homo sapiens sapiens. These beings were, celebrated as gods as they slowly went away, but they settled in the most eastern part of our Antarctica, which was in a tropical area. That time when it was in a tropical area, you have what you call Atlantis. So these are what the Atlanteans used to look like. And what's happening is with the elongated skulls, and this happens for human beings as well, the back of the skulls, what that usually means is they have some sort of telepathic communication or telekinesis. And we also have that too. It's just not elongated or big enough. But if you speak a tonal language, and you'll see this a lot in Homo sapiens sapiens, if you speak a tonal language like Spanish, French, even African tribe language, anything that is not English, you'll see that ESPM gene in your brain will actually get contracted, and the back of your cranium will be bigger if you speak multiple languages. If you speak English, most of the times it's not as big because it traps language in any other languages. That's why you can't learn any other languages if English is your primary language. But if Spanish is your primary language or French or something like that, you'll understand how many languages you know because it's easier for you to learn. So that's something to look into. You want to look into a book called Linguistics Healer or The Power of Language. That's a great book that talks about tonal language and how it affects the size of your brain. So, tonal language affects the size of your brain. That goes for telepathic abilities as well. If they're exercised, through evolution, that size of your brain will expand. Remember, I was mentioning another planet that was going alongside Tiamat, that is now your Mars. These beings also had elongated skulls as well. But it wasn't like the ones in Tiamat. These ones actually had elongated skulls, and what it looked like was a ball at the tip of their head. I'm trying to find a picture here. I wish I had a better way of scrolling through these pictures. Oh shoot, it's 7-Eleven. So let's go into some Q&A. Sorry, I had way much more material, but shoot, sidetrack as usual. But we can go over that Q&A. I'll be over here. Onion Man, you care to join me?
Oh, sure. I kind of just wanted to listen, actually, but
Oh, for sure. Go ahead. Go listen. I'll take guests up here. You guys can take that microphone, or you guys can sit at the table. It's all good. We're here to share. And to mind you, all the information I'm sharing with you, whatever works for you, keep it. And whatever doesn't, throw it away. We're not to know everything. And I'm not here to give answers. I'm just telling you my truth. I'm just hoping that my truth helps you get closer to yours. So I want this platform to be available for extraterrestrials and human beings alike to share their experiences during this transition because it's brand new for everybody. So,
Here.
what's up, dude?
Hey,
Thank you
so
for accepting me. How
yes,
you doing, Bob?
absolutely. Good. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes.
Okay, very good. All right. First of all, I'm Christian, and I knew
Christian.
a man, yes, Christian from believing in the Bible, and I knew a man who was a prophet of God, and he said that the aliens do exist, and that the government has had them. He was able to see auras and everything, and he was, of course, people. It's funny how many Christians, they say they don't believe in that, but yet the Bible talks about angels and demons, which
Yeah.
are not from the earth, so they have to be aliens.
You know what?
And
It's really funny because a lot of people trying to differentiate the subject, like the auras, energetic structures, the aliens, even religion and God. They're not different subjects. They're actually all part of the same. So what I've heard is up there in our 3D reality, because religion exists because we don't have answers. So we actually make up these belief systems because we're missing puzzle pieces. So in a higher dimensional consciousness or a higher level of consciousness, religion is sort of just a phase. But while we're in this
well, I don't
phase,
believe that.
what they
I don't
what they've
believe
told
that,
us,
but
what
that's
they've
okay.
told
You
us,
believe that, but I don't
no,
believe
no,
that.
no, no, no. Let me finish. What they've told us is every religion is true. Just whatever you believe makes it true. So there's no real religion. There's no real general way that everyone is supposed to believe in their God. But in that same sense, every religion is true.
Well, I don't agree with that, but that's okay. I'm not here to
Mhm.
argue. But the point
Yeah.
is, in the Bible, it also there are many Christians believe in what is called the rapture. There are prophecies in the Bible that said that there will come a day when the two realms, this realm of spirit, will come together with the earth. And
Yeah.
a lot of people have mentioned as if Christ was going to come down, and there'll be a judgment on the world, but they may have interpreted it incorrectly. Whereas there
Yeah.
may be an
Well,
unfolding of things
you know,
coming into view, that people have never
Yeah.
seen in the end time. And I just wanted to say
Well,
that this is
I've also
from this
thank you so much
perspective.
for saying that, Bob, and coming up here to
And
this
I'll take my
platform
seat
and
over here.
sharing your thought. Oh, thank you for sharing. And can I share one more thing? Oh, where'd he go? Bob?
Sure, I'm right.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so it's crazy about Jesus Christ. I mean, a lot of my family is Catholic and Christian, but about Jesus Christ on an extraterrestrial level, he was the being that lived life to the highest level that a human being could. So a human being hasn't reached that level yet. So Jesus is very, very much prized as far as extraterrestrial activity. Um, all these beings, Muhammad, Moses, a lot of these people that were have extraterrestrial influence that are misinterpreted by the Bible because obviously they're trying to hide the fact that there were aliens. But Jesus, especially, he was followed, and yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm trying to get your name. Oh, where'd it go? Let's see. Anyone have a question? Go ahead.
You have to go sit in the seat.
Could I
You can
say
just grab
something
a mic.
about the Bible real quick?
Sure, sure, sure.
Yeah, interpreting it. Paul Wallace has like a lot of great work on it. He'll mostly go over Genesis and how similar it is to the Sumerian text.
What
Looking
was
at the
his name
original
again?
translation.
Any man?
Paul Wallace.
Paul Wallace.
Yeah,
Watch him.
yeah. I
Oh,
could
I want
bring
to
up a
look in.
video if
I
you
dig
want.
that stuff. I dig that stuff. Not just the Bible, but all religious books. Just like plugging them in. What's up, man?
Okay.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you for coming.
Okay, first of all, thank you for this interesting and encompassing talk about the various races. Now
Thank
I
you
would
so
like
much.
to ask one question and I will return to the audience and listen after that.
Okay.
As far as you know, how many races are using Element 115 devices arranged in an Omicron configuration to travel interstellar space? Or should I say, is Element 115 the only way to achieve interstellar travel, or are there other hard science technology used besides transcendental consciousness travel? Thank you.
You're welcome. So that's a really complex question because when you hear a question like that, you automatically think propulsion. So the way that UFOs or extraterrestrials work, well, there's multiple ways that they work. They have a magnetic electrogravitic propulsion. So, and that's mostly powered by a containment field. So you would imagine, how would I explain this? If you were to take a star and you cover it with a cage, and that cage just slowly compresses the star continuously, you get a continuous energy. So most of their power plants are like that, or they have a black hole technology. So they create artificial black holes, or what they call black matter, and that will give them continuous pull. So propulsion, as far as like explosion and rockets, as far as the first part of your question, that's like light, speed of light, they would call. That's nothing anymore because what they do now, if you understand the way time works, every piece of time and event, even the space we're in, has an individual. Oh, where'd it go? Has its own individual and significant frequency. So point A would be a frequency, and then point B would be a different frequency. So what you do is basically vibrate yourself or the vessel to match point B, and you're automatically there. So the space from point A to point B, you don't even travel through that. You've just moved there. So that's the second part of your question, as far as like moving consciously, because that's also how you astral project. You're actually vibrating to a different level or opening vibrational channels for you to get through there. But most of the travel from point A to point B is at an instant. So as far as like, can you move, as speed of light or the speed of sound, that doesn't even matter anymore because they have technology that surpass that. Thank you for that question. Oh no. That's what that's actually the technology that they're trying to reverse engineer right now. So what you're seeing right now is drone technology big propellers. Sooner or later, they're gonna just replace those big propellers with anti-gravitic technology, or what they call magnetic gravitic technology, which probably happen in the next 10 years. Hopefully, we'll see. We'll see what they give you guys. Anyone want to come up or share a story or anything? I have a question.
Hello there.
Hey, how you doing? Not, I have more stuff to show you guys if no one has a question.
I have
Yeah,
a
go ahead,
question.
brother. Sure, sure.
What is it for you, the collective unconsciousness?
I'm sorry. What is the question?
What
What
is
is
it
for
for
me
you, the collective unconsciousness?
the collective unconsciousness? Hmm. I don't know how to answer that question. I know the science of collective consciousness is universal. So if everyone's doing the same thing, like in a church, if everyone's in a church and they're praising God, the vibration of praising God is a lot higher because collective consciousness. If you're in a library and everyone's studying because everyone's doing the same thing, you can study a lot better because of collective consciousness. So collective consciousness is a huge thing. This also goes for meditation for your people. If you guys go in a huge circle and actually go into a ley line point, which is an energetic vortex. So if you understand the way the body works, the body has energy points that is containing your natural flow of energy. And when there's a blockage there, you go to acupuncture and they stick a needle in that blockage and take out that blockage so your body will actually naturally flow again. So it happens on Earth as well. Earth has energy lines and ley line points that go horizontal and vertically. But when these lines cross, great. So when these lines cross, you have a vortex or a ley line point. But if all of you go there and meditate or sing, have a good time, dance, anything of vibration, and go to every single point on Earth and do that at the same time, it will dramatically change the whole status of your planet. You don't know how powerful you guys are. You guys are power plants. It's amazing
I
what you guys
actually
can do.
read something about that, and they said that if everyone on the earth was to have that consciousness, I guess you can say, that
Hmm.
the one thing that they said would change almost instantly would
Yeah.
actually be the weather. And I was
Yeah.
like, wow, they said it would just go almost
Yeah.
like to
It's
like
actually
perfect
really
weather
funny you say
almost
that because
all over the world.
it's how Native American rain dances happen. So what happens in a
Oh
rain dance
yes,
is if
I'm a
it's
Native
flat,
American actually.
if yeah, so if you
Um,
understand how rain dances happen, if you go to a
oh
flat
yeah.
enough level and those clouds are low enough, all the other tribes come. They're like, hey, dude, we need you for a rain dance. Hey, meet up for a rain dance, and they dance and party. The collective energy and sweat from the dancing and celebratory steams up the clouds. The clouds come down with water. So that's actually where rain dances come from. Rain dance thinks like 10 or 5 people. No, it's like 500,000 people dancing on a flat area.
Oh no, I think we lost him. So that was the show. Hopefully it'll be back.
Yeah,
I'll try.
maybe the
He
aliens
sent me
didn't
some
want us to
videos.
know.
What the fuck is that
This is
code,
a
man?
good opportunity for everybody to kind of start talking about, what they think. I mean, I've heard a lot of things of people saying like, some people are like, oh, I think that something just dropped this off here and just was like, oh, we're gonna see what happens. I kind of want to know what your thoughts of creation or why you're here or what you think. Anybody?
Good Lord put us here.
I believe we're designed.
Well, of course, that's in our DNA.
Yeah, but people don't know it. They're not aware of their frequency.
I think we're all shy.
I mean, I think it's very
I ain't
interesting
shy.
that
I'll talk my shit. Cause y'all ain't gonna like it.
Rock
Hmm.
it.
I mean, has anybody ever had any alien experiences before
I don't feel
or
like
Listen, I believe in aliens. I believe in a lot. Some crazy shit goes on in this world. Get about all the rest of the world. So
I
let's
think
rock this out.
that oh yeah, I'm one of those believers who I believe in the magic of the world.
Yeah.
There's so much magic here that we don't even recognize anymore, you know what I mean? Like it's just like he's saying, like the positive energy that you radiate can change the entire world, and no one really thinks about it, and everybody's so divided. They all, do their own thing. But once people can have the same mind of how to change the world, everything is going to change with it. Even the people in your neighborhoods, your neighbors, it's your energy that's going to change what's around you.
Ripple
So,
effect.
So, so yeah, but
Yeah,
the thing
true.
is that
Voltron, you are muted.
I'm muted. Oh, the thing is that nobody, yeah, you can change the world, but nobody's on their frequency. We were born with a frequency. If you can tune with that frequency, you can change your reality.
Is it open forum? Can anyone talk right now?
Yeah, go for it, man. I'll listen to it.
Sure. I really enjoyed the presentation. I kind of missed a bit of it, but I came in and it was really cool to hear everyone talk. Um, so someone was asking a second ago about if anyone's ever experienced something. Mine is probably not as appealing as Mr. Good and David Wilcock and all those gentlemen, but I do remember at the age of 14 years old, I lost time for 3 hours, and
Are you able to take the microphone? No.
yeah, sure. How do I do that? Just
there you go. You're good.
oh, that's is this it? This I grab it?
Yeah, you just have to go towards it. That's all. It'll amplify you already.
How's it? Can everybody hear me now? Is that better?
You're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was 14 years old. I remember this pretty clearly to this day. I woke up and I started hearing a really weird song above the house. It comes like a swooshing sound, like a big engine. And as the engine got closer and closer and closer, I knew something. I thought it was the garbage truck at first, and then all of a sudden we lost complete power in the house, and I was the only one in the basement when we lost complete power because everyone else was sleeping. It's at 2 o'clock in the morning. So when I got up and I started walking around,
We got 3
like I
minutes.
said, I heard this big engine above, and then all of a sudden the engine cut its power, and then there was this big blinding flash of light that went straight through the basement window, and it lit up half the room. It was that powerful. I was in a state of shock. I froze. I couldn't move. I look at the time though; it was 2 a.m. And the only thing that came through my head at that moment was, "Don't move, or they're gonna come and get you." That's what I was thinking in my head. Don't know why, but it's probably just fear. Next thing I know, it was 5 a.m. and I saw the room was still lit half with light, and then all of a sudden there was no more light, and then I heard the engines above the house. It was something sounded like it was spinning, and then it got further and further and further away, and then it was gone.
So
Man,
I will say some have admitted that the U.S. government has staged a lot of alien like like abduction
thank
things
you for sharing, brother.
Yep, appreciate
um
it.
like such to spread fear.
So that was my
If you
personal
don't
experience,
mind
but
me saying,
sure.
in situations like this, regression therapy might help you to recall more of your event.
So I have actually has been to see the top trauma specialists in our region. I want to, but I don't want to say the name of the country. And I've been what's the word? I have been diagnosed with a number of things. I've been diagnosed with something referred to as, well, everyone knows what narcolepsy is, but I've also been diagnosed with cataplexy. So what that means is I suffer visual and audio hallucinations. I'm wired a little bit differently. Now, all of this stuff that I'm explaining to you started after that event.
Can I just say something, brother?
Yes,
So
sir.
if you look up Linda Moulton Howe, so what's happening
Oh
right
yeah,
now
I
is
met her. She's cool.
a lot of abductees are going through the same thing. So they're creating programs that'll actually help with the traumatics events that have happened, and that's why these ET healing technologies have become more available to us. One of these things I wanted to mention to you that is actually made strictly for abductees to heal their PTSD and stuff is the harmonic egg. If you want to look at the
Okay.
harmonic egg, that thing is amazing, and it's a few sessions has healed people who have been in the same chair as you, brother. And I just wanted to share that to help you
I
get
appreciate that.
through your journey a little better.
Okay, I really do
Among
appreciate that.
the other technologies, if you research harmonic egg, it'll probably take you into the ozone. Like all these new healing chambers are reversed ET technology. If you look up
Okay.
ozone, it has something to do with compressed oxygen, and you actually sit in. It's kind of like a sauna. So oxygen plays a huge part in healing as much as harmonics. So harmonics has a huge part. That's what the harmonic egg does. So instead of like harmonics bouncing off your skin in the harmonic eggs, it's actually going through your body. And the woman who created it said she was channeled by aliens to help heal people with traumatic syndromes from abductions or
Okay.
contact experiences. Yeah.
Well, I thought it was just a 14-year-old kid having a bad dream until about a
No,
week later. A
no,
week later,
brother.
my mother and my sister said they saw a spaceship hovering 50
Yeah.
meters away from the house.
When was your last experience? Because I know that they will continue to see you. It
Uh,
doesn't just stop there. If you don't
You see,
mind
listen,
sharing.
I'm not gonna, I won't embellish anything. I won't be deceitful. I'm not gonna say to you I have had UFO experiences. I've had other supernatural experiences, but other than those two particular events in my our life, I can't say. My mother's seen a couple, but my mother actually, what my sister saw a spaceship. It wasn't a UFO. It was an actual spaceship. She said the thing was circular and it was spinning all the way around, and
Hey, Onion Man, can you bring up my video that I shot in the daytime? I think it was the
yes. Oh, thank you very
Bring
2014.
right
much,
up.
everyone, for listening.
So if you have an abduction or contactee experience or you thought you did, probably did. A lot of times they mind swipe you. So when they bring you back to your container, they bring you back from an abduction or a contact or whatever, you'll be like, yo, where did the 5 hours go? It's because they've actually taken you back there or they've mind swiped you. Sometimes they'll put you back into the same time frame where they took. So these are some UFOs that I caught on tape in 2014. It was in broad daylight, and these ones were CE5. So CE5 is you go to a designated spot, you actually call them. That's called close encounters of the fifth kind. So that's the last one leaving. They came in a set of 5. Me screaming, sorry.
That looks like a bird flying.
That was a CE5, and that was the first time we called them and saw them on purpose. But every time before that, it was by accident. What I'm trying to tell you is, once you've seen one, or a couple of friends of yours have seen them, they're going to continue to see them. And the reason why you don't hear about it is because they don't talk about it, and that has to change. We have to share our experiences and let them know that, hey, this is also happening to us. If you're in this room, want to know more knowledge, you are a star seed. You It is your duty to share this knowledge and share what you know with peoples. Otherwise, when people will not know the truth, it's very important that we speak recklessly about this subject. Otherwise, they will not know the truth. So, if you have any experiences or you want to know any more information, me and Onion Man will be back here next Tuesday at 6:30, And thank you so much for accepting our transmission. Have a
I
good
do
day,
want to say
guys.
one
You
thing
too.
Sure.
before everybody leaves.
Oh, sure.
I'm actually kind of very new to meditating. It's kind of like a new thing that I've been trying, but I do know one thing that really